Hi everyone, I'm Dara. This is Dear Hallmark. I review all the new release movies for Hallmark Channel because I love me some Hallmark Channel. So Raise a Glass to Love is the latest installment of Hallmark's Fall Harvest lineup. I'm gonna tell it to you straight, no chaser right now. There was no fall vibes to be had in this movie at all. We had 2 mentions of pumpkin spice, and there was a wine and food festival that they call a harvest festival, but I'm like, it's a wine and food festival. In any event, we have Jenna, played by Laura Osnes, and Marcelo Castillo, played by Juan Pablo de Pace, and we have a vineyard. So allow me to tell you the story of Jenna and Marcelo. Jenna is a sommelier who wants to up her credentials to become a master sommelier. And there are only 180 or so in the world. 27 of those are women. So she is out here trying to break barriers, trying to make history. However, she fails twice taking her master sommelier exam. So she's kind of bummed. And a month before, the movie kind of jump cuts to 11 months later. And she's working at a wine shop in San Fran. So she's like, you know what, let me just go home. It's her parents' 40th wedding anniversary. Her dad wants to surprise the mom, and so she offers to help around the vineyard while dad is tending to the surprise things that, for his wife. So she meets the winemaker that they hired, Marcelo, not they, because that's his real name, Marcelo Castillo. Now, I don't know if it's Castillo or Castillo. But in any event, I just enjoy saying that name. And that's Juan Pablo de Pace's character. So Marcelo, he is very much like into organic, like get out there with the grapes, become one with the vine. And Jenna's just like, I hear you, but I need to study. I need you to just hop, skip, and jump out my face so I can get this exam. I need this money. I'm trying to build with my boyfriend. He's Aiden. He's over in some French restaurant, Olivier, in San Fran. And her goal, she wants to become a master sommelier so that she can work with her boyfriend because he only hires master sommeliers. She wants to work with her boyfriend and then build something together. They've been together for 3 years. So I'm thinking she's like, marriage, let's just build this together and have something, that we could do together. Which I'm like, okay, I can understand that. But Aiden, there is a song that I feel like accurately describes how I feel about Aiden. And that song goes a little something like this. I'm just going to sing a couple of lines from it. I don't want no scrubs. A scrub is a guy who can't get no love from me. And that's exactly what Aiden is. Aiden is a scrub. When she, so his master sommelier quits throughout, into the movie. And he's not even thinking about Jenna. I'm like, sir, you got a sommelier sitting in your back pocket, and you're not going to use her. And that kind of puts a chink in her confidence in terms of her even wanting to become a master sommelier, because her boyfriend is not encouraging her. He's just not trying to pay her any time of day when it comes to that. And so he finally obliges her and gives her the job. So she goes back to San Fran, and when I tell you, the most powerful electron microscope could not find the care that he had in that moment when Jenna was. I was like, bro, he said, so are we breaking up? And it was like he had no emotion. He almost could care. He really couldn't care less. He really couldn't. And you know what? I was like, well, all right then, Jack. All right then, you better be nimble. Be quick and jump over that candlestick and catch a bus and get out of my face because you a big disgrace. That's just right. In any event, I was done with Aiden. But here's the thing, y'all. the one thing that rubbed me the wrong way with this movie, I'm kind of getting exhausted with the romantic storyline of the woman or the man already being in a relationship but then catching feelings for someone else. I'm ready for when we just have two single people who are unattached, who then catch the feelings and go into a hot air balloon up into the cloud love. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired of it. Can we just have two single people? Nobody engaged, nobody in a relationship, like just two single as a dollar bill, ready to mingle. That was my biggest thing with this movie. But I also have notes. Can we talk about wardrobe? Because for those of you, if this is your first time watching, welcome. Fashion plays an important aspect in movies for me. I want to know that each detail of the movie is taken care of. Setting, wardrobe, all of that. The wardrobe. That Bordeaux colored dress that she had on when she took her exam, when we first meet her. The muted mustard colored dress that she had on in the ending. Oh gosh, I yelled at my screen. It was fantastic. And then, as if that wasn't enough, they said, no, I don't think you're ready. Mr. Marcelo Castile had on a suave light gray situation, no tie, because the collar was open. Hello. And I loved also that they, instead of the guy, being enamored with the woman coming down in the dress, it was the woman being caught off guard by the man in the suit. And I don't think I've ever seen that before outside of Jingle Bell Bride. If you remember when Julie Gonzalo's character sees, I forget the gentleman who played her her male lead, but when she saw him in a suit, it was just like, skirt, ooh, okay, what's happening here? And you saw that with Jenna. It was as if he was walking in slow motion, even though he really wasn't walking in slow motion. And I appreciated that. That little gray shoot number, I was like, I see you, Wardrobe. I see you. The Vineyard House. I've never wanted to be inside of a Hallmark movie as much as I did this one. Now, let me tell you, because I was on a bit of a sugar high, right? I had just come from my aunt's house. She had the nerve to do like a pre-Thanksgiving thing and going to cook macaroni and cheese and cabbage and corn and yams and grilled chicken. And her yams are like chock full of sugar. I'm talking like 10 cups of sugar in her yams. And on top of that, her husband had the nerve to make a chocolate cake from scratch. So I'm kind of like wired while I'm watching this. But like that Vineyard House was just like, ah! Did anyone else? Was that house not gorgeous? The Spanish Mediterranean architecture, the kitchen. That's going on my list of favorite kitchens in Hallmark movies. Oh, bet your bottom's dollar I'm keeping it a tab. I know what my favorite kitchens are. Most of them are in movies. Well, there is one, You're Making Me Crazy. I liked her kitchen. But if I only had Christmas with Candace Cameron Bure, Timeless Christmas with Ryan Pavey and Erin Cahill, Snow Kissed, Chris McNally, Jen Lilly, and then this one. Okay. Here's the thing. When she's watching, like she takes her exam for the final time in the mustard colored ensemble, and she passes, and so Marcelo is there with a thing of flowers. That was very underwhelming. I expected her to be, oh, what? Oh, like she's on a high. She hugged the woman who gave her Master Sommelier pen But then when she saw Marcelo, she was just like, what are you doing here? I would have been screaming. Like, what in the world? Here's another thing. So I enjoyed this movie much more than I thought I was. But I didn't even care about the romance. Like, I was so into her passing this exam and becoming a master sommelier, and her believing in herself and accepting the encouragement that her family was giving her, because her family was already saying she was a master sommelier, even though she really wasn't. But she felt like that was giving her a lot of angst. But I could see where her family was coming from. They were like they were just so proud of her, and they really wanted her to do well. But I don't know what to say. Yeah, I lost my train of thought. That's actually what happened. This is the one thing though. I do think this movie should have been the movie that they played on September 4th instead of Journey of My Heart. I think they should have concluded Summer Nights with Sweet Pecan Summer, started the Fall Harvest with Roadhouse Romance, and then September 4th should have been this movie. Just like a regular, like, you know what they did with Sweet Carolina and Hearts Down Under? Those weren't in any bad, like, they weren't a part of Spring Fling or Summer Nights. They were just, let me just drop you a movie really quick. That's what I feel like. That's what this should have been, because I think it's odd because of how much they're trying to push the seasonal vibes of autumn. This gave none, and so I really think it would have been in Hallmark's best interest to had aired this on September 4th. I think this would have been a perfect transitional movie. That being said, my Crown rating is 3.5. I'm just wondering the replay value. I feel like this teeter-totters between you can clean and vacuum, but then you gotta be like, oh, but wait, let me see this part when she's in the exam because that dress. Or, oh, let me see when they did. Speaking of the dance, why are we breaking another dance? Jenna, I knew something was about to pop off when they danced, and getting into stance, he didn't hold her hand out. He held it right here. I said, okay, sir. Okay. And then they were talking about a name for the wine that they could enter into the competition. She said heart. He said corazón. She said right, to honor where you're from. And then he said maestra de corazón, master of the heart. He was like, yes, to honor where you're from. And he like touched her with both of their arms, and she was just like, what? And then she left. I don't even know. But y'all, this movie, I did like it more than I thought I would. But for some reason, I just can't give it a 4. I feel like I'm very conflicted. Maybe a 3.75. I feel like this, I don't even drink, and I wanted to have a glass of wine. And I appreciated how much, like, I feel like this is the only Vineyard movie I've seen Hallmark do that really focuses on the wine. Like, Autumn in the Vineyard was great. I haven't seen Summer in the Vineyard or Valentine in the Vineyard. Paris Wine and Romance was okay. But I think, for what I've seen so far, this is Hallmark's best Vineyard movie. But just for me, because, like, I don't know. Yeah, I'm very conflicted. I think I'm going to give it 3.75. It may move to 4. We may move to 4. I'm not sure. But that's kind of where I am right now. This review is already longer than what I need it to be. But what did you think of Raise a Glass to Love? Did you care? Were you interested? Did you think the romance was like, why? Like, I mean, there were little things here and there, but it's like, again, we save it for the last 10 minutes of the movie. All of a sudden, te quiero. I love you. I'm like, what? So now they buying a vineyard together? In any event, though, I really did enjoy this movie. I really, really did. And it was a step up from last week for me. So, as always, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Make sure to follow Dear Hallmark on Instagram, because the community we've built over there, we be cutting up, and I appreciate it. And I also drop videos on that Instagram that you won't find here on YouTube. Also, Dear Hallmark is a podcast. So if you want to hear my thoughts on all of the backlist titles of Hallmark movies, for instance, this week I did Sweet Autumn featuring Nikki DeLoach and what's his name? What's cousin's name? Andrew Walker. I did my thoughts on watching that. So there's a link in the description for you to check out the podcast. And even more so, you can leave a voice message where you can give me a minute's worth of your thoughts about anything Hallmark related. You can talk about Raise a Glass to Love. You can talk about Sweet Autumn. You can talk about All of My Heart or December Bride. Whatever Hallmark movie or TV show you want to talk about. Let me just record a voice message. I will play it in the podcast and respond to it in a segment that I like to call Tell Me How You Really Feel. And on that note, I will talk to you guys for Taking the Reins, featuring Scott Porter and Nikki DeLoach. So I will talk to you guys next week.